if I had to pick between the two today, I would probably pick Kamala.
That's honest. That's honest.
But
you're still undecided.
I'm coming to ask you a question.
You got an open mind
more.
still.
Yeah. Right now, my biggest turnoff from Trump is the handling of the 2020 election and January 6th. I don't feel that I should vote for someone who's not going to respect my vote if it's not for him.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the best measure of the health of American democracy. I'll tell you what it is. It's not the number of green pieces of paper in our bank account. It's not even the number of ballots that get cast every November. The best measure of the health of our democracy is the percentage of people who are able to say what they actually think in public, just as you are right now, right? And even if you leave this, say you want to vote for Kamala Harris, I will, and Donald Trump will always fight to the death for your right to say it. Here's what happened in 2020. They told you that if you said the COVID began in a lab in China, to shut up, sit down, you're a racist, silence your social media accounts, censor if you'd be able to say it. The Hunter Biden laptop story on the eve of the last election censored the New York Post's accounts on Twitter, on every other social media platform. You couldn't even send it on direct message, like email to your friends. No, you were physically blocked from doing it. And then we were told that, okay, at least you get an election to sort this out. And the way the elections were conducted in the back of COVID really suffocated the voices of Americans. So if you tell people they can't speak, that is when they scream. If you tell people they can't scream, that's when they start to tear things down. And so do I like what happened on January 6th? No, I don't. And does Donald Trump? No, he doesn't either. And we share a love of this country to make sure something like that never happens again. But the way we do that is by actually allowing people to speak instead of censoring them. And the real threat to democracy is coming from the pro-censorship side. So if you ask me, let me ask you a question. Who do you think is more okay with censorship of political views in this country today? Is it Donald Trump or Kamala Harris?
In my opinion, Donald Trump.
So I respectfully disagree with you. What evidence do you have for that view? Let me, I'm going to ask, we're going to go through this. He's being respectful. We're going to treat him respectfully. We will give him the courtesy that the left would not if the equivalent of a MAGA hat wearer showed up at a left-wing version of this, okay? So I'll tell you this. Give me evidence of where Donald Trump suppressed somebody else's view from being expressed.
I don't have it on the top of my head.
Now, may I give you evidence?
Yeah,
May I give you evidence?
That's why I'm here.
If you said that you're against school lockdowns, which is a Republican view, YouTube took down your videos. If you said that the Hunter Biden laptop story was real, your social media account was shut down. If you said that COVID-19 began in a lab in Wuhan, all of these things we now know to be true, you were shut down, in part at the direction of Democratic, bureaucratic actors, and many in the Democratic Party favoring that to protect the public from so-called misinformation. So I'll ask you again, when you look at the record of evidence of which party has been more in favor of censorship, do you believe right now that's the Democratic Party or the Republican Party?
Based off what you said, the Democrats, but I'm sure there's evidence on both sides.
So I don't think there's evidence on both sides, but what I'll give you is the best argument for that they make. The best argument they make is we need to protect the people from misinformation. Okay, they would say that if the voters are not well informed, they can't actually have a true democracy because you have to be able to protect people from hearing the wrong thing. That's their view. They're not even defending the First Amendment or free speech anymore, but what they're saying is that you got to have modifications to the First Amendment to be able to make sure that voters aren't misled. Here's my view and here's Donald Trump's view. The right answer to bad speech is not less speech. It is more speech. So let me ask you, as a voter, tell me your name again? Evan. Do you believe it is a more important objective to preserve the freedom to express any opinion in America? Or do you believe that it's okay to censor sometimes as long as you're limiting the amount of misinformation? I'm framing it fairly here. Which one do you think is actually more important?
I think censoring the right people, like people high up, from stopping misinformation, like stopping the...
But how do you know what type of censorship is actually censoring the right information, and who gets to decide that?
That's a very good question.
So our founding fathers had a view on this matter. They believed that any opinion gets to be expressed. That doesn't mean somebody gets to walk in here and say, I'm gonna kill you all or whatever. Nope, that's not an opinion. That's a threat. That doesn't mean that you get to sell somebody some kind of snake oil that's going to kill them and tell them it's a medicine. That's commercial fraud. But the expression of any opinion, no matter how heinous it is, that's what the First Amendment protects. And I think the Democratic view today is that there are certain opinions that are so heinous that you don't get to express them in the United States. They call it hate speech. And the Republican view, and this is why you got former Democrats now coming over to the Republican side, including up to, my favorite of them, Elon Musk, who's a free speech absolutist, formerly a Democrat, now with us, is the belief that even if you disagree with me, you get the right to say it. And so if you're on the side, there's a trade-off, because that means some people are going to hear views they don't like. Some people sometimes might even be misled by those views. That's a trade-off. We accept that. That's what makes America great. But you have a choice in this election. If you want to favor the party that coddles the public and say you don't get to hear certain views, I couldn't tell you vote for Donald Trump. I'd tell you that means you're a Kamala Harris voter. But if you believe, as our founders did, that this is the country where no matter what your opinion is, you get the freedom to actually express it as an American, then there's only one right choice in this election, and that's Donald Trump. So I'd ask you, between now and the election, think about yourself, how much you value the freedom you just expressed and exercised right now to come to this microphone without any police officer here taking you to one side because what you said was unpopular here. If you value that freedom, no matter how much you might dislike certain aspects of Donald Trump, he is the free speech candidate in this election, and that's why I'm going to ask you to vote for him. All right, man?
All right. Thank you for your time.
Can you give that some consideration, at least between now and November 5th?
Yep.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Connor. Appreciate it. Thank you.
How you doing, man?
Let's see if we got an extra hat here. Connor, come back up here, man. Connor, try it on and see how it fits, all right?
Evan.
Evan, sorry. Evan, good to see you. Come on back. Thank you, man. Thank you. Just see if it fits. That's all. That's all I'm saying.